Hello. Okay, awesome. It worked. I am going to wait for people to join us, but then I'm also still getting set up. So I'm going to try to move my tablet. Hey, Natasha. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do Job, because I read in there this morning. So I'm going to get there and just let people hop on. I'm going to use, Distress Oxides. So I'm going to, maybe I should have found Job before. Oh, there it is. I'm going to use Distress Oxides. I've been getting lots of questions about backgrounds, and I did a live last week, but I had done the pages, and so people didn't get a chance to see how I did that. So, let's get this kind of situated. Where I go. Okay, so in Job, I'm reading, it's about his friends coming and sitting down with him. So I'm going to look. Hey there, Erica. Hey, Leah. I should have written down. Give me just 1 second, and then I'm going to get started. I just need to figure out where my verse is. Oh, here we go. It's down here. This is where it is. Okay. It was about Job's friends coming and sitting with him, and not saying anything. And for, I think it was a week, it says. And so that was what I was going to do. And I'm going to use the llama. So let me just grab the llama real quick. Oh, he's on my desk. Okay. So the llama's sitting down in here, so I'm going to tie that in. But, like I said, we're going to start with Distress Oxide. So I'm going to just grab a few colors here. And, we'll get started. So this is Broken China. And Distress Oxides are different than the Ranger inks. And so you will want to pick these up and you'll see the difference. And then I have the Ranger daubers with the circle ones, and just stick it on. So one of the questions that I get asked, sometimes you just kind of, you're used to stamping with regular stamps and ink. So you might just kind of do that and then try working on your page. And you can see it's not really, I mean, kind of lightly, it's going to be hard to bend it. So when I put it in, you're going to put it in and kind of twist it and rub. You're really going to smush hard like into the pad and pick up the ink. And don't worry, the ink's going to last a while, and they do have refills. And you can already see the difference of how much color just went on that page. And so we're just going to kind of put that around, grab some other colors. I'm thinking I want to do, where is it? Abandoned Coral. It was right here. Uh-oh, I switched the lids. Let's see. Hold on. If you haven't gone to Ranger and printed out these labels, I would do that because it is, okay, so this is Abandoned Coral. Oh. Candied apple. Okay. I switched the lids on these and I'm just getting them fixed back. So let me get my dauber for that. So you can print them out from the Ranger site. And I love that because I was constantly flipping through my colors trying to find the color I wanted. And then we're just going to take that and add it on. I'm going to spray it with water in a minute, but I'm also going to put the color on my mat and pick it up that way with a water brush. And you'll just see the texture and the layer of waters that it will pick up from there. And for that, I'm just going to take it. I have a Ranger craft mat, and I just take it, put it upside down, twist down that mat, and then I'm able to pick it up with a water brush. It's kind of hard to show that off camera. I want one more color in here. How about... I think I want some of this frayed burlap. What's the difference between the ones that say Distress ink and what you are using? So, Distress ink is what Ranger first came out with, Tim Holtz first had, and it is not, it's more alcohol, use alcohol with it. It really doesn't activate with water, where an oxide activates with water, and that's how you're going to get like the water drops, the texture. I mean, there's more of like the chemical side to it, which I'm more unfamiliar with, but, they and the distress inks will get muddy if you start mixing them together. The oxides, when dry, are very layerable, and you'll see that in just a little bit when I start like adding. This is like the first layer. When I do the second layer, you're gonna see some of the texture and how that works and comes into play. So I'm gonna stop there. Your distress bottle that you use to spray, it does matter. I'm not saying you have to have the Tim Holtz one, but if you have one that does a fine mist, it's all going to look the same and you're really not going to see the variation in color. So I tried that. If you have a brush, you can do like that, or a different sprayer, not a brush. You can kind of drop it and get some of the bigger drops in there. The more water you use, it will bleed. I don't mind bleed through, so it'll just go on the other side and I'll incorporate it later. If I do not use gesso, but if you want to use gesso, you can use gesso, and that will help protect the other side. It's just an extra step in dry time, and they will, the oxides will work fine on gesso. So I'm going to dry that. And then I'm going to show you just picking it up with a brush and layering that on top, and what the difference you'll see. That's kind of, the next step is my favorite step, because that's really where you just start seeing all the variances in color. And you can just add and play. Okay. It doesn't, because I'm adding more color, it doesn't have to be completely dry. And then I just have water on my brush. Gonna pick up some of that blue. I'm just gonna kind of layer that in. This is kind of my verse area, so I'm not going to go on that area very much. So I'm just like taking my brush, cleaning it off in some very muddy water. And then I'm going to pick up the abandoned coral and do the same thing. And just kind of layer that on top. We're going to kind of splatter it. I'm going to go ahead and dry that, and then I'm going to add in some of the, hey Rebecca, I'm going to add in some of the frayed burlap. So if you have distress oxides and love them, tell me what you love, or what colors you love, or which set you have. Give me some feedback. Alright, and then let's get this color. I add a little bit up here. Gonna dry that. I think I want a little bit darker of the, on top of the abandoned coral. When I layered that, it didn't get as, much pigment on there. So I'm going to pick up the candied apple, since that's a little bit darker, and just add that on top. And hopefully that'll kind of give me a little bit more, color variance. That's exactly what I wanted. Just a little bit, just so it stood out a little bit more and didn't look, it was just kind of getting lost on there. And you can see, I mean, how they layer. So like that candied apple is on top of the blue. Now, most of them I notice layer that way, and you can get them on top. They're just not as... Sometimes you just have to like play with it and just see which colors are going to lay. But I notice most of them just do this right here, and you're going to get them on top. They are super saturated. I love just the color that you can get from them, and that you can just keep layering it. And the color directly on the page, if you just wanted to do like the color without water or anything, you can have brighter colors too. And that's another way just to add depth. So I think I'm going to stop there, and then I'm going to start adding my stamps and words on there, and then I can always add in more color to finish. Here's my lid. You have worn lipstick, fired brick, fossilized amber, faded jean, and broken china. I think those are ones from the first set, and I love those colors. I pretty much love all of them. I want to collect them. I think broken china. Yeah, I like all those. See, you have some of these colors right here. You don't have the oxides yet. Yes, you can mix them. Like, you can mix oxides. I've just been doing a little of that. I have a lot of the old Distress ink, so they're not my favorite colors, and I only have some of the newer colors and the small ones. But you mixing and matching the oxides with the regular ones is something you can do. You spot 8 of my favorites from random sets across the rainbow. Fun! Where did you find them, Rebecca? Like Hobby Lobby or Michael's, or did you order somewhere else? There's some, like, I do not have that I want to piece together. I bought a set on, I think it's set 2 I have, so I have all of those. Joann's online. I need to look there. I'm sure I can get a good... Okay, so our llama's going to sit somewhere. 35 with shipping. That's not bad at all. That's like a little less than $6 a piece, right? No, 5. No, 4. I was going to say 4 at first. A little bit more than 4 a piece. $4.25. Yeah, that was slow math. That's funny. Alright, so we're going to add some of these. I did another one about sitting down. So I want to figure out, let's get these stamps out. So these are an older stamp set from Sweet and Sassy Stamps. They're Shake It Off, and they're all in caps. And so I like these. And then these are new for the month of August, the Chunky Lowercase Alpha. These are definitely one of my new favorites, which I say that every month, but really they are. We're going to do llama or sit down. Okay, we're going to start with sit. I love all the Shake It Off. Me too. I have both. I have the lowercase and the uppercase now. I had to collect them. The uppercase capital letters just came to me this month, which is fun. I was wondering how you get yours so bright and shaded. Yes, so just kind of keep layering on there. And different colors, like these are a little bit more muted, the colors I chose, than like Picked Raspberry or Wild Honey, Salty Ocean. Like those are definitely much brighter pigmented colors. So playing with them, I mean, you can get a lot of color with them. Sit down. And I think just keep layering them until you're happy. I noticed that it works out better for me if I try not to use every color in the rainbow. Like sticking to 3 colors, I noticed that usually I'm happier with my page. Maybe just a few, like I could take yellow and just do a little bit of yellow, but just adding in a few colors and not going crazy. it's just sometimes, so if that's a look, sometimes you can do multiple colors, but it's not. Sit down and listen. That's what I want to do. I'm not sure where those are going to stay. I'm thinking we can do listen list. Have I used gelatos? Yes. When I started Bible journaling in 2015, and I already had a few gelatos, and I started using them, but I struggle with them because they ruin my pens, and even pens, like, you have to wait forever for them to dry, even with a heat gun. Even with the right pen, you can not break a pen, but they're just not my favorite. You can wait a day for them to dry, and yeah, I don't know. The color is great. I mean, you can do fun stuff with them. I just don't like that they don't dry. They're oil-based, and that is why, I gotta move this up. They're oil-based, so you have to wait. Can I squeeze him there for them to dry? Yeah. I mean, I think give them a good 24 hours to dry. Somebody does have a technique. I can't think of her name right now. She did something where she figured it out and you could, like, dry them right away, and they worked. I agree about the pens. Micron pens do okay for a while, but will stop working. Right. They definitely do. These are my favorite pens. They're the Uniball Signo 207B for bold. You can get them in medium too. I have the medium and I use it for certain stuff, but I just love the bold. These you won't ruin them. So, I mean, you can use them, but I do notice that, like, if you've not waited long enough, it'll just kind of smear. Hey, Angela. It'll just kind of smear and, like, kind of remove the gelatos without really writing with a pen. But if you wait longer, these will work on there. All right, sit down. Oh, interesting. I have a, this is my favorite pen in the whole world. That Christy Tomlinson was, she's the planner girl now, but before that she was, a mixed media artist. And so she's the one who sold me on these pens because after 30 seconds, they're permanent. So using them on canvases, over Mod Podge, over paint, they will dry. I mean, and you can smudge with them. Like, if you want to do shading, use your finger and smudge. It'll do some awesome, like, shading, and then you can outline. And if they're dry, I mean, water can go over them and it's not going to, like, smear everywhere. Sometimes I have that happen, but most often I don't. Okay, I've got to start stamping. Sit down and listen. I think I can move him up a little bit. I want to kind of start with him. All right, let me get my ink. What kind of pen? So it's the Uniball 207 and then B for bold. They sell them, you can get medium too if you want a finer point. You can order on Amazon. Walmart has them. Staples has them. Yeah, they're easy. They're pretty easy to find. All right, gonna stamp that there. And get a smaller one. I have my first Uniball 207. Yep, and then B. B for bold. And it's a Signo, if you want to know that. Signo. I have my first class, Bible journaling class, on Saturday. So I have been shopping for the rest of the stuff I needed and packaging my kits, which is fun, making the bows, getting everything ready. So I am excited to do it. I feel like I planned it about a month ago because I knew I had to order stuff, and just to see if people were interested or not. So it's been kind of just waiting for it to get closer, and then it was like this week came. We were out of town this weekend, And then I was like, oh my goodness, we have my class. And so yeah, I have everything done. I think there's just a couple things I want to pick up. And then, yeah, we'll meet on Saturday. This verse in Job, we read chapter 1, 2 through 13, I think it was, and then later, I can't remember what chapter, but it was kind of at the end of Job. And we read it this morning during part of our school time with the kids, and it was just, I just love it. I love reading the Bible to the kids, and I have a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old. But it was good just to be able to talk about this. And as we were talking about it, I brought up just the friends and how, as they go through life, they're going to have friends who just go through hard times, and just, they can be a good friend and just sit and listen. And, they don't always have to say something, but can just be with them, and, and that they would want friends who sit with them and, maybe don't have anything to say, but they feel comforted just by somebody just sitting and caring. And so when I was talking about that, I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to journal that. So this is the first I had a chance to kind of get away and journal. So that's why we're in Job. I have a class tomorrow, so thanks for the tip about the pens. You're welcome. Yes, if you, Amazon does have them where you can buy them in bulk, like I think 12, and it's not a bad deal. So definitely I would check out Amazon if you're doing it for a class. Maybe not tomorrow, but a future one. And I think you can get a set of 5 for not much at Walmart too. Sit down. Where'd my... Oh, here's my W. I was wondering where it went. I zoomed in on my phone to get closer to the page. Does that make it blurrier, or what does it look like on your screen? Does it look clear, or... I'm wondering if I should I might actually put a few more words. I was thinking about putting, sit down and listen, and just be, how could I say that? Sit down and listen, and, I guess I could write it. I guess I could do that. I'll write it with that pen since we talked about it. And I could just write some extra. Sit down, listen, and be present. So I'm going to add some of these on here. That one said sending you a llama love. I'm not sure it would go. I'm just not sure where to put it. I think what I'm going to do next is, let's grab this. This is from the Texture Tiles 2. All right, let me grab it because it might be 3. Texture Tiles 3. This one right here is one of the ones I like. It just leaves like a little grungy markings on there, and I just like the way it looks. So we're going to do that. Here's where we're just kind of adding in like some yellow, this wild honey. I think I'm going to take that and add it. I just put it on my mat, and then I'm going to take that and fill it in this banner up here. I'm just going to kind of messily put that in, give it a little taps to add it to the page. All right, sit down and listen. Let's grab this pen. I'm going to dry it before I write on there. And we'll take this, and first I'm just going to outline it's pretty much this whole thing right here. All right, so sit down and listen. Sorry, it's hard to talk and write at the same time. I just wrote sit down or don't say anything at all. Show your friends you care by being present. And I almost couldn't read that myself. I am going to get my date stamp too and step that on there and then finish adding. I'm going to add some more, I think, yellow on the page and marks around there. Today's the 8th, I think. I'm going to stamp that there. Okay, so let's get some more of that wild honey. Just kind of warm it up a little bit. I'm going to dry that. The other thing you can do with the Distress Oxides is stamp with them. Distress inks do not stamp very well. It's hard to have like a clean, crisp image, especially if there's a lot of detail. So I know somebody was asking earlier, with the oxides, you can stamp with them. Now, if water hits them, they will oxidize, so you'll lose some of it, but it'll still, I mean, it still works. And you can even do like two-tone letters. I've done that a lot. Okay, so then the white Signal Uniball pen is what I use for just making marks on here. So I'm just going to add a little bit just a little bit to the letters. I don't really know. A lot of people do this, and there's like, I don't know if there's a rhyme or a reason, or you get to just put pretty marks. I don't know. And then I'm going to outline just on the outside of listen. Sit down and listen. I still kind of want some of this, I think, broken up a little bit. Or maybe what you can do is just take a little bit on the sponge. And it'll be a little bit more pigmented. And just kind of add that on. That may be just hard to see. You can probably see more. I just kind of did it there. I don't like what I just did right there. Let's try to get some of that off. And the llama, I do want to color him in just a little bit. I missed his nose. I was trying to, I mean, clearly I missed because I'm using that as a brush. I have a smaller one in here. Let's see. Trying to get some of the water out. I'm just going to hit that real quick with the heat gun. I like using the hearts from this set. If you can see, like, there's little hearts and the little triangular pyramid looking shapes, and then these dots. Using the hearts, and I'll show you, since we talked about it, let's just go ahead and do it. This is Abandoned Coral Distressed Oxide. I'm just going to stamp in there. And then, sorry, I was trying to figure out where to stamp. And these are little, like, so you're not going to see a lot of the, how bold that can be, but you can stamp with them. We'll do that. And then I'm going to take some of these. Let's see. I have some opened. These hearts right here will match well. So we're going to add, oops, hold on, let me move that over so it's on my words. Do that, add in some yellow hearts and pink hearts. I'm not sure about that bright yellow. What do y'all think? Should I leave this bright? I think if I tie it in, I do need a tab still. Can that go there? Sure. And then this is where I take the medium uniball pen. Since I want a finer tip, and just outline in that. And then we need a tab. Let me get this back on. Sit down and listen. Okay, let's get I'm thinking that one right there. And I always just cut my tabs in half. Do I want it? I kind of want it overlapping right there. Put that on. Let's get some washi. I already had that taped to my desk. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to pull this out. Oh, I do want to underline. Hold on. Kind of mess. We're just going to do that real quick. Put this back together. I'm going to show you just a closer up view. So sit down and listen. Whoops, and Job. That is pretty much it. I will share this video. I will go ahead. So if you missed the beginning, and just kind of how I started with the Distress Oxides. You can catch it, and I will save it and try to upload it on my YouTube channel too, so that it can be watched at another time. So thanks for hanging out and watching, and I will see you all later.